Hello, traders. Welcome back to another weekly Forex forecast with one man. So, this is my first official video where I'm showing my face to break down the chart. So, it's going to be a little bit not so comfortable, but I hope to get better with time. So, if you are new to the channel, please do well to subscribe and turn on post notification. So what we do here is so simple. We do top-down analysis, pure price actions. There is no fancy diagram. There's no fancy drawings. All that we are looking for is clean and pure price action. Coupled with, we look at what the big institutions are doing, what the big speculators are doing, what the banks are doing, what the hedge funds are also doing, what positions are they taking, because these guys are the ones that move the market. We don't move the market. So the direction in which they are trading, we also want to trade in that direction. Without wasting much time, let's get to the chart. And this week, we are looking at what the pound crosses. We are looking at GBPAUD, GBPCAD, GBPNZD, and also GBP Swiss francs. So we look at the technical aspect and we'll move to the quote reports to see where we can find entries or where we can, get in some trades and make some money. So without wasting much, let's look at the technical. So on the monthly, when we look at the monthly, we could see clean and clear that what price is in a perfect what uptrend, creating series of what higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. And where do we know this thing is going to get to? When we look at our far left way back in 2015, there is what a key level of what resistance right here on a monthly. And since this is a monthly time frame, there is what an 80 to 70% chances that what when price gets here, we are going to see a major what pullback. This pullback could either be a complete reversal to push this market all the way down, or just some pushback for market to what before markets will continue going up. So we know from the monthly technical perspective, this market still has the potential to move almost 1,500 pips to an area of what 2.24 potential. So let's see how we can find an entry and get some of those pips. So we go to the weekly. Now, on the weekly, things are also so perfect. This market has just been what? Creating what? A perfect higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And now we are coming for what? A higher low. Technical wise, market has created what? A higher high. After a higher high, there should be a higher low before the next higher high. But then again, when we look at things from technical point, previously in the year 2020, on the weekly time frame, there is what? A great selling pressure around what? This level, which was a key resistance on the weekly, and then it gave what? A huge what? Push down. And market managed to what? Move all the way back to that same point. On a monthly, we still have the potential of what? Going all the way to what? 2.24. But on the weekly, we are faced with what? A very strong resistance right over here. Since we are looking for buying opportunities, and on the weekly we are facing a great resistance, which tells us that what? We need to relax, because we don't buy at what? A resistance. We only buy at what? Support. So technically, we are supposed to what? Create a lower low, and then we go by creating what? A low, then we go and create higher high. I hope everything is clear from this point. Now, what happened when price got to this point due to Trump tariffs and all those things? We had a very huge spike, but this spike was not able to extend all the way to what our monthly target. Halfway, the price after this spike, price what closed back below the resistance. Price closed back below what this weekly resistance. And for the past 2 weeks, price has been consolidating just beneath what this resistance. So which tells me that there is these sellers who are trying to push the market down to create that lower low, but the sellers are not what enough to do that. Technical perspective, the sellers are not enough to push the price down. That is why price is just what consolidating, and there are also what not enough buyers ready to buy the market from this level. So they are waiting for sellers to push the price down before they come in for the buy. But also, there are not what enough sellers. When we go to the quote report or what the institutions are doing, we want to see if the institutions are ready to buy from this level or they are also waiting for sellers. So we go to the institution website, and on this website, we could see that for the pound GBP, they are what? Net positive 20,490 longs. And then for the Australian dollar, they are what? Negative 54,000 net positive short, which tells us that what? Overall, since it is a net positive, the pound is way stronger than the AUD. Hence, trying to look for sells is not so safe compared to trying to look for what? Longs. But since technical wise, price is at a key resistance, all we have to do is to go to a more lower time frame, which is the daily, to see what is happening. And on the daily, price action, very clean. All we could see is the same thing: high, low. We went to create this high, and we are gradually coming forward this low. And from this low, we have the potential to what? To continue the buying. Hence, what can we do? We could see that price is at what? A very strong resistance level. And what that we are doing over here is what? Ranging. Price is only ranging in this zone. Therefore, there is technically nothing to do in this range than to wait. Are the sellers going to be able to push the price down to this structural break before the buyers come in, or the sellers will lose the selling momentum, and then what? Price will continue to what? To shoot up. We go on a 4 hour to see. Now the 4 hour and then the 1 hour is literally our entry zone. So when I go to the 4 hour, all I can see is what? Very beautiful. We have this 4 hour trend line, which was also supporting the buys, pushing price all the way up, went to create what? Equal tops, and all that we are doing here is what? Ranging. So, technical wise, we have to wait for the range to be broken. So, will the range breaks to the upside, or will it breaks to the downside? Now, on a higher time frame, we are waiting for what? Pullbacks. So this pullback, technically, can break markets all the way back to this zone before the new buyers start buying the market. So on GBPAUD, there is technically nothing to do. There's no entry than to wait to see what market can do. If we break, if we break below, we can take a sell, and which is going to be a sell like this, and we can have a risk to reward of 1.2, which is not favorable. If we want to take this sell, if you want to take a sell, it is not going to be favorable. But we can scale down lower to maybe a 1 hour time frame to look for a more favorable risk to reward, where our stop loss is going to be a little bit smaller to get that trade. But we are not going to do that. If you want to be part of my community where we can look for those trades and get on a lower time frame and look for entries, then you have to sort of join my group, and we do that. Aside that, all that we can do on this pair is to wait. Either we break above. Now, when we break above, then technically we are right to go long. And when we go long from here to here, the risk to reward is 1:2, which makes a good gain. So a break, and then we'll continue going all the way up. So for me, GBPAUD, I am expecting, from technical point of view, I'm expecting a break above for a buy. But for scalping purposes, to scalp that correction that we are waiting on from a higher time frame, I can scalp a sell down before I take a complete buy to the upside. Remember, sales are not safe because the institutions from our coach report, they are buying the pound and then they are selling the AUD, which means that there is not enough buyers of the AUD. Hence, GBP AUD is just going to go up. But we being day-to-day, traders, for the day traders, we can scalp the sell, and then we'll take a swing buy. Or if price does not due to this trend line, technically price can just have a test of this trend line, and we break out, correct, and then we look forward that bullish momentum all the way back to the previous high, you know, back to the previous high. Stop loss is just below the range, and we can even hold the trade because we know that technically from the monthly perspective, price is supposed to go to 2.24. So this trade can give me a potential of 1:5 if I hold all the way, correct, and then we will go all the way to the upside. So the next pair we're going to look at is GBPNZD. So GBPNZD, and GBPAUD moves literally the same way. They move literally the same way. So when we look at, first of all, when we look at the coach report, what the institutions are doing, what the banks are doing, we could see that the NZD, they are net short negative 26,000, and then they are net long the AUD positive 20,400. What happened this week? They've closed some of their shorts, and then they've added more longs. So adding longs and closing shorts simply means that gradually they are adding strength to the New Zealand dollar. But that still does not mean that what the New Zealand dollar is stronger than what the pound. Hence, our overall direction is still going to be what bullish. So, from the technical perspective, we could see that what we are in a perfect what uptrend, and our overall target. If you watch my previous videos, I gave this buying by hours when price was around 2.09 thereabout. So our overall target on the monthly is around 2 point what 5 clean price action. Price is going to gradually what move towards what 2.5. So that is the direction we want to be taking, because the big boys, the big players are also what net long the pound, and then what they are net short the New Zealand dollar. But does that mean that what we should just enter a buy from here and expect it to go high? No. So we go to the lower time frame, which is the weekly. So when I go to the weekly, technically, what I can see without struggling is what this beautiful trend being supported by what a trend line. So price created high, low, high, low, high. We are coming for a low and we go for what? A high. So clean, so simple. With the support of this trend line, all that I'm expecting is price to rally back to this trend line, and from this trend line, we look for what? The buying opportunities. So on a weekly, we don't have much to do. We could see clearly that what the weekly has the potential of coming down a little before the buy. So we go to the daily, Now on the daily, everything is the same, perfect trend line. And what is happening? We could see that what on the daily, price is beginning to range on the trend line. Why? Because from the institution point of trade, they are closing some of their shorts and adding longs, which means that temporarily the NZD is gaining a little strength. Now, when the NZD is gaining a little strength, that is the reason why technically the pound, after we hit this trend line, price did not just what shoot up, because the NZD is not totally what weak. Hence, all that we need to do is to what? To wait for this range, just like what we did on the GBPAUD, the range to be broken. When we are able to see a range, a candle close above the range, so simple, we can take a trade, TP all the way up, stop loss just what below. But this is on the daily. We go to the 4 hour to look at um, an area where we can. So on the 4 hour, all that we could see is what we have seen after this Trump push all the way up. All that we could see is what we could see price beginning to chop around, but in a descending form. And if you know this chart pattern, which if you know this chart pattern, gradually price is going to what move up like this. So all that we are seeing here is what price also in a range. Now, all that we need to see is a clean breakout, close above, and we can take our buy. So for me, I am just waiting for a 4 hour completely close. My entry is going to be there. First TP, second TP, all the way up. Stop loss below the range. And then this gives me a beautiful 1:5. Good risk to reward. And I can take this trade. On the other hand, because the NZD is being a little bit strong, or the institutions are sort of closing some of their short positions on the NZD, we can still see price manipulate a lot of the buyers over here, even breaks low and then start with going down. When it does that, for me, all that I am still expecting is that break above for price what to go up. So to make it so simple, we are on a trend line support. Price is in a range. We are expecting a break above, and once we get a break above, we go long and price first TP, second TP all the way up. Stop loss just below this zone. So GBP NZD, we are expecting what long. The next pair we're going to look at is what GBP what card. So on the GBP card, what can we do on the GBP card? What is happening on the GBP card? First of all, we look at what the institutions are doing. What are they doing on the Canadian dollar? Same. They are net short the Canadian dollar, and then they are net long the pound, which means that GBP card from the institution point of trade, they are what? Buying GBP card. Last week they've closed short and then they've added longs, just few longs, which means that what? The card from the technical perspective against the pound is still what? Very weak. So technically, what can we see on the monthly? Tells me that what price has the potential of moving all the way to what 2.08 before any key selling pressure comes in the market. So we are not looking for sales. We are going to find entries to continue buying on GBP card. So on GBP card, on a weekly time frame, all we could see is key levels being broken and being retested many times. Since our overall target is all the way up at 2.09, then when we look at the weekly, we had this beautiful level broken. So price action wise, impulse, we corrected higher, we came back for a retest, and we are what? Moving upwards again. So we already had a confirmation candle, which was this engulfing bullish candle, telling us that what price is going to what continue going up. So if you can afford a stop loss of almost 500 pips, you can just enter like that and then expect price to go all the way, which is literally like another 1:5. But since that stop loss is too big on a weekly time frame, we go to the daily to try and see if we can narrow the stop loss down. So on my daily time frame, what do we need to do on a daily time frame? Very simple, very simple. All that we are going to do is to wait for. So we had price high, pushback, and we are here. So how do we get an entry? Very simple. This was a retest and price push up. So very simple. We can have this, you know, are we going to just jump into a buy? No, we want to wait for a clean area. So on a daily, I can still see this trend line resistance over here. That price can just keep trading below it until it breaks out. Then we are going to take a buy. So on the 4 hour, let's see what is happening on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, our trend line is still very active, our selling trend line. Are we going to take sales? No. All that we are doing is to wait for what? The break of this trend line. So price can still, push down a little bit. When price push all the way, even if price decides to push all the way, then this is going to be like an area to start looking for a bullish confirmation, and we can just buy from here, stop loss below this level, and then we're still gonna get like 5.5. Another way to look for an entry is when price sort of breaks this trend line, retest, and we take a buy. So we can have this area of support, price coming back, pushing, coming back, pushing, break above, then a buy. So GBP card, we are waiting for a break above this level, then we can take a buy all the way to our next target. So GBP AUD, so um, GBP AUD, GBP AUD, we are waiting for buy setups. GBP NZD, we are waiting for buy setups. GBP card, we are waiting for buy setups. After all of them breaks out, then we can take those buys. If price continues to push all the way down, we'll find another entry to buy. So that is all on GBP AUD, GBP card, and GBP NZD. So like I said, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notification as I drop this detailed analysis almost every week. I don't just come to drop analysis. I explain exactly what I'm looking for, why I'm looking for it, looking at the technicals, and looking at what the large speculators are doing to confirm my direction and my entries. So, peace out.